Alright guys, welcome back to Initial Assessment, and this time we only have one book, and it's Assorted Crisis Events by Deniz. I believe it's Eric Zawaszki, Jordy Belair. And in this issue, we get Ashley, who is living in a world that there's constant crisis events, and by crisis events, it's similar to Crisis on Infinite Earths level crisis events, where one minute your world is calm and cool and collected, and the next minute you have alien people trying to gun down people outside. You have fissures opening up in the world. You have sharks flying through the air. You have all of these different things, and in the middle of it, Ashley is living in an apartment complex where it's already kind of downrun and downtrodden. And as she's going along, they're making movies, post-apocalyptic movies. And so she happens to walk into the middle of one of these scenes and gets yelled at by the director, and her friend, Mr. Suleiman, comes out and tries to smooth things over and make sure she's okay. But this is almost like a day in the life of, and it starts out with her clock, which is one of the few items that she has left from her parents who have gone missing in this particular set of crisis events. Then she's trying to get it fixed because one of the explosions outside knocked it to the floor and broke the glass. And her day just continues to get worse and worse. She tries to go to work, and they don't have her on the schedule because they've never even heard of her, and yet she's worked there for 10 years. She goes to take it to this one clock guy who, since time is malleable, there are not really any clock gurus anymore, except they work on them if they want to. And if your story is not good enough, if you're not excited by it, then they have every right to choose to not work on your item. But, one day you've got this fascist, Nazi regime, and then she comes to find out it's just another movie. Then she goes to take it to another time shop, and he said that I didn't buy the delivery for a minute, so you've got to do better. So it just keeps building and building and building upon itself to the point where she sees a hole, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to drop in this hole. I'm tired of living this way. And it's just another movie set. And she says, oh crap, I forgot. This director's old school and he used practical effects, so there's no hole at all. So she builds up to go one more time to get the clock fixed, and she runs up on a situation outside where they're harassing this guy, the guy that's on the cover, that is pretty much doom and gloom, Mr. Dread here, that, he's saying that the world is coming to an end, life is over with, it's too late for everybody. And these two cops, one of them ends up assaulting her with his baton, and she ends up in jail. And so it's really, really a great story about family. It's a great story about finding who you are in a ever constantly changing world. And that's how every one of us lives, is we all live in a world that can go upside down each and every day. So Ashley's story is highly relatable. I'm not going to say that I'm not a fan of Deniz. I just haven't read a lot of his stuff. But I will say this issue started off extremely well. So if you want something different, and that's the way that I'm going to explain it, is if you want something different, something that's heady, something that does remind you of how important your life connections are, and how these sentimental things that we pick up from our parents, from our aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters, these things do carry weight. And even in a world where everything is going wrong and everything is upside down and death and destruction surrounds you, and you can't really tell what's real and what's fake anymore, these items do hold a particular weight for you. And so it's really an interesting tale, and one that I'm going to say that everybody should check out under initial assessment. I think you should all give this first book a shot and see where it goes from there. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. We'll catch you later.